Hello, this video is for IXL activity 7.C.4 where we're going to add integers together, and our 3-character code for this activity is QFU, or Quebec Foxtrot Uniform. And we've done some other activities adding integers. We've done it with number lines. We had an activity to where we investigated, is the answer going to be positive or is it going to be negative? And now we're going to go ahead and do it without number lines, and we have to determine whether it's positive or negative, but we also have to come up with the sum of the two add-ins. And real quick in review, we know that if they have the same sign, then the answer is going to have the same sign. That is to say, if they're both positive, the answer would be positive, and if they're both negative, the answer is going to be negative. And remember, this deals with if we're adding them, so it has to be addition in between them. And then the other rule is if they're different signs, if they have a different sign than each other, then we have to use that concept of using the absolute value, subtracting numbers, and then using the same sign as whichever number has the greatest absolute value. So we'll look at that. So in the first one here, we both have the same sign, so we know the answer is going to be positive. And 6 plus 7 is 13, so our answer is going to be 13. On the next one, -2 and -3, well, they're both negative, so our answer is going to be negative. And since they're the same sign, we can go ahead and add them together. 2 plus 3 is 5, so our solution is going to be -5. On the next one, we have two different signs, so we're not quite sure what the sign is going to be yet. So we have to consider the absolute value of 3 and the absolute value of -1. So absolute value of 3 is 3, and the absolute value of -1 is 1. So 3 is greater than 1, so our answer is going to be positive. Put a little, you don't have to type the positive sign in if the answer is positive. I'm just going to put it up here as a note. But I need to now subtract these to get an answer. So I want to take the greatest absolute value, 3, and subtract from it the lesser absolute value, which is 1, so the answer is 2. So it's going to be a positive 2. Here I have two different signs, so absolute value of 4 and the absolute value of -8 is 8. -4 is less than -8, so the -8 is going to win out. The answer is going to be negative. And then I need to subtract these. Well, 8 minus 4 is 4, so my solution is -4. On the next one here, oh, check this out. These are opposites, right? +2, -2. They're opposites, so we know they equal 0. They're additive inverses. Now, don't get tricked and see, oh, same number, 0. Nope, not going to work that way because they're both negative. So the answer is going to be negative, and we're going to go ahead and add them. 6 plus 6 is 12, so our solution is -12. On the next one, different signs. So the absolute value of -3 is +3. Absolute value of 8 is 8. 3 is less than 8, so the answer is going to be positive. And 8 minus 3 is 5, so my answer is +5. Now we're getting into two-digit numbers as we start moving along here. First we need to consider, is the answer going to be positive or is it going to be negative? So absolute value of -47 is 47. Absolute value of 19 is 19. 47 is greater than 19, so we know the answer is going to be negative, just like the 47 is negative in the original problem. And now I need to do 47 minus 19. Now I could stack them up, 47, 19, and subtract. And I can't take 9 from 7, so I got to borrow 1. And that becomes a 3, and this becomes a 17. 17 minus 9 is 8. And then 3 minus 1 is, what, 2. So I would get 28, -28. Now another way I could have done that mentally was to say, okay, I'm at 47 and I got to take away 19. Well, 19 is almost 20. So what if I took away 47 minus 20 would be easy. That would be 27, right? But I was only supposed to take away 19, so I got to throw one of those back on, and I'd end up with 28. So a little bit of mental math there help. I double clicked, I think. There we go. On the next one, two different signs, so we have to consider absolute values. 103 and absolute value of negative 319 is 319. And 103 is less than 319, so the answer is going to be negative, matching that negative 319. And now I need to subtract the greater absolute value minus the lesser absolute value. 9 minus 3, 6. Bring down the 1. 1 minus 0. And 3 minus 1 is 2. So 216. Now, you can always check your answer by going back and adding 103, the number you took away, to your answer, 216. Add them together, and we should get that 319. 9, 1, 3, and sure enough, good to go. So I must have done my mathematics correct. Absolute value of negative 210 is 210. Absolute value of 900 is 900. So 210 is less than, so 900 is going to win out, so this answer is going to be positive. And then I need 900 minus 210. 900 minus 210. Well, I could do the whole, let me see, borrow 1 from here. This would become a 9. This would become a 10. And 10 minus 0. Oh, I didn't have to do that, did I? Let's go back some. I'm getting ahead of myself. 0 minus 0 is 0. Now I just need to borrow 1. Here that becomes a 10. That becomes an 8. 10 minus 1 is 9. And 8 minus 2 is 6 for 690. Or I could have done that mentally and said, okay, 900 minus 200 is 700. And then I need to take off another 10, 690, right? And I could have got there mentally using mental math. All right, I believe I have 2 more questions here. We've gotten so used to like doing subtraction, right? They kind of trick you into it, trying to get you to get used to doing it. Well, check this out. They're both the same sign. So we know they're both going to be, the answer is going to be negative. The answer is going to match what the sign is for the other 2. And that means we need to add these together. Now I could do this without stacking them up, and I'll show you that in a moment. But I need to add 456 and 469. So we're adding those. 6, 9, 15. We're going to carry the 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 and 6 is 12. We're going to carry the 1. 4 and 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. Negative 925 is the answer. Or I could have done this by saying, okay, 9 and 6 is 15. Carry the 1. 6, 7 plus 5 is 12. Carry the 1. 4 and 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So if you're good enough to do it that way, you can feel free to do it that way. And if you want to go ahead and stack them up, go ahead and stack them up. And here we have 2 of them that are different signs. So we're going to have to use the absolute value concept. The absolute value of negative 894 is positive 894. Absolute values are always positive. And absolute value of 884 is going to be 884. And indeed, 894 is greater than 884. So my answer is going to be negative. And now I need to subtract them. Well, hopefully you're seeing those are only 10 apart, right? 884 plus 10 is 894. Those are only 10 apart. We could have stacked them. 894 minus 884. And we would have had 4 minus 4 is 0. 9 minus 8 is 1. 8 minus 8 is 0. And get 10. And remember, the sign is negative because the absolute value of negative 894 is greater than the absolute value of a positive 884. So there are all of my examples for IXL 7.C.4, adding integers, and good luck with your activity.